work to at least come with the concise presentations and a few take-home messages for each and particular cases, because I was not sure that what kind of audience we would be having over here. Then I think Nirmal Bhai, sir, and Mohit Bhai both have made me very clear that there are so many fellows as well as team members who might probably not be aware of all the pediatric cardiac anomalies and their surgeries. So I tried to at least clear some myths that how the management of post cardiac surgery is different from normal neonatology, or routine pediatric intensive care, because it is not same. So people do understand that yes, if I'm doing a pediatric intensive care practices, and in the
अमित
same
भाई,
way I would extubate the
सॉरी
child.
सॉरी, मैं ना
Yeah.
सबको भी म्यूट कर रहा हूँ. यू प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग बिकॉज बीच में डिस्टरबेंस आ रहा है. तो आई एम म्यूटेड एवरीवन, यू अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. हुआ अनम्यूट किया आपने?
Yeah, is it?
हाँ, yes, please now carry on, please.
Okay. So it was really difficult aspect, but yes, of course, as pediatric cardiac intensivist and pediatric cardiac field, what comes in my mind is to make all the pediatricians aware that how pediatric cardiac intensive care is different from your routine intensive care. So today, our focus is not to make you learn the whole separate science of pediatric cardiac intensive care, but at least few things. Like for example, in your Nirmal hospital itself, you might be doing coarctation of aorta, PDA ligations. In PDA ligations, as those are off-pump surgeries, they don't require proper pediatric cardiac surgical unit. Still, you guys would be doing those kind of surgeries. How to manage those cases, as well as I would be feeling that few aspirant pediatric intensive care or neonatology fellow from your unit might be taking this as a career, like how I have taken pediatric cardiac intensive care as a career. And I still remember sir would be, remembering those quotes, as probably I was the first one. I was, to be very frank, first certified fellow who have done the first batch pediatric cardiac intensive care fellowship from Nahandra on those times. So when you would be doing the first in some field, you are of course excited, but when you are doing this as the first time, you would be worried whether some career opportunity would be given to you or not. Am I right, Nirmal sir? Nirmal sir has told me that Amit, you are going in a very, very, robust path, which is very narrow, isn't it? Out of huge ocean of pediatric intensive care, you are choosing only pediatric cardiac surgery or post-pediatric cardiac surgery as a branch. So it's tough. You are narrowing your window of opportunity. But after I took this as a branch, I realized that there are so many things which is required to be done. And gradually, I kept going into the depth and reached to the stage where, this can be opted as a career. So I wish that some of the aspirant or mind like me from Nirmal, whenever they come around you, Mohit Bhai, and Nirmal sir, as you as a guide or mentor, when you feel that those people are there, you can guide them the thing as a career.
I wanted you to stay with us for a longer time. See.
I still wish unit there, because frankly speaking, I have not seen such kind of unit in my curriculum or career, apart from Lotus or Rainbow Children's Hospital or Kachi Kamkoti, who are doing exclusive core pediatric intensive care work since those time, 2005, 2006 I was there. And sir, आप तो उससे भी पहले से आपने नींव बांध के रखी थी unit की. So you were visionary, I would say. Very few people are there with this vision that yes, pediatric intensive care is a branch which should be taken. तब तो सब neonatology की ही बातें करते थे. NICU के सिवाय कोई PICU की कोई बात ही नहीं करता था. मोहित भाई अब मुझे डांटेंगे कि I am taking things away from NICU. बट यस वो टाइम था, वो एरा था जब पीआईसीयू के बारे में कोई नहीं सोचता था, और उसमें पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक इंटेंसिव केयर वाज अ सेपरेट थिंग. तो क्यों? नाउ लेट अस गो इनटू द डिटेल. This is our emergency room as a whole, if you see, and the team member of 4 or 5 in ER or your ICU care practices, out of this bunch of the people coming into the PICU or NICU, there are very few who would be uplifted and would be saved out of after doing the cardiac surgery. So I would say that responsibility is huge on your shoulder as pediatric intensive care unit team. There could be a team consists of surgeon, PICU people, neonatologist, pediatric cardiac intensivist, cardiologist, and I would say not only this, it starts from the obstetrician itself, because they are the first one who diagnoses the congenital heart disease, or neonatal or fetal cardiologist, like how Mohit Bhai has deviated his entire career, and he was also first to bring the essence of cardiology in neonatology practice. So which is a very unique branch, and I think he can vouch for his knowledge in pediatric cardiology, that the entire shape of NICU can be given differently when you know how the cardiology or how shunt lesions or how the hemodynamics do behave when you ventilate a neonate. So this is a huge responsibility is on your shoulder, and we are going to clear it. To introduce you, I would like to tell you, a little bit of statistics that CHD is one of the most common birth defect, affecting 8 out of 1,000 live birth, my dears. So it is not that rare. If you are thinking that अरे ये तो rare branch है, cardiology तो कितना आएगा, cardiology में नहीं interest लेना है या cardiac intensive care में नहीं interest लेना है, तो my dear guys, you are in the great myth which I would like to clear, कि 1,000 live birth, 1000 बच्चे पैदा होते हैं, उसमें से 8 को congenital heart disease है. और आप लोग जो critical care fellowship कर रहे हो, you guys who are doing critical care fellowship in NICU or in such a prestigious unit like Nirmal, you would be seeing more NICU calls or more delivery calls where there are preterms, there are triplets, there are twin pregnancy, or I think probably Surat is known for 7 pregnancies, 7 tons deliveries in one mom, isn't it? I think those were news when I was there, or probably in the recent time also they have delivered in one of the hospital. I don't remember the name exactly. बट 3 और 4 बच्चे लेने हैं, तो आई थिंक जब मैं और मोहित भाई वहां पे थे सर के साथ, तब ये कॉमन हुआ करता था कि एक ही एम्बुलेंस में 3-4 बच्चे साथ में लेके आते थे. तो उस बच्चों में तो कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज और एनोमलीज के चांसेस बहुत हाई है. सो ये 8 आउट ऑफ 1,000 लाइव बर्थ, इट इज प्रैक्टिकली मोर, आई वुड से 10 or 14 or 15 when you guys are taking care of those children. Presenting symptoms are often subtle and non-specific. Without training, many pediatricians would not even able to know that these are the shunt lesions. The complexity of inheritance to this patient population is really challenging, and interventional surgeries are still continued to evolve. First pediatric cardiac surgery in India, when it was done, if you remember, it was in 1985 or 1990. So it is hardly 30 or 40 years of time horizon when the first pediatric cardiac surgery was done in India, or even in the world. बट अब अगर आप बर्डन देखो तो 2 लाख बच्चे हर साल इंडिया में कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज के साथ बर्थ जन्म लेते हैं, और आउट ऑफ विच 60 और 90,000, 90,000 बच्चे को कुछ न कुछ इंटरवेंशन की जरूरत होती है. सो दैट्स अ ह्यूज बर्डन इन इंडिया. एंड आउट ऑफ 2 लाख इन इंडिया, ओनली 2% ऑफ दिस आर एबल टू गेट मैनेज्ड एवरी ईयर. तो सोचो, होराइजन बहुत है, अपॉर्चुनिटी खूब है, खाली जरूरत क्या है? नंबर ऑफ पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक सर्जन हैज टू इवॉल्व, एंड दोज सर्जन्स हैज टू बी गिवन अ वेरी रोबस्ट केयर बाय अस पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक इंटेंसिविस्ट और पीडियाट्रिक इंटेंसिविस्ट और पीडियाट्रिक न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट, कि भाई सर आप लोग सर्जरी करो, वी आर रेडी टू मैनेज दिस चिल्ड्रन. 40% of out of these children are very ill, critically ill, and which presents in the neonatal time period where you guys are doing fellowship. So समझो आपकी 2 लाख में से 40% तो क्रिटिकली इल है. पहुंचाना है इनको टाइम पर आपके जैसे यूनिट में, और टाइम पर पहुंचाने के बाद राइट टाइम पे डायग्नोसिस करना है. जो मोहित भाई ने जो ब्रांच पकड़ी वो ब्रांच से किया जा सकता है, बिकॉज हर सिटी के अंदर पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट नहीं है, हम ही हैं जिनको इको करना सीखना है, और पीडीए के बियॉन्ड डायग्नोसिस करना सीखना है. पीडीए ऑफ कोर्स हेमोडायनामिकली सिग्निफिकेंट पीडीए आपकी नियोनेटोलॉजी प्रैक्टिस को डिफरेंट शेप करेगा, बट धीरे 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 आपको उससे एक स्टेप आगे जाना है, बिकॉज वो तो मोहित भाई ने आपको रट्टा लगा दिया है कि पीडीए को कैसे मैनेज करना है. सो मैंने मेरी स्लाइड में लास्ट रखा है, बिकॉज जिस चीज को मोहित भाई छू चुके हैं उसको मुझे टच करने का कोई मतलब नहीं रहता है. व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू टच इज the shunt lesions, admixture lesions, or major congenital heart disease. Now, 10% of the infant mortality is due to CHD alone in India. Just imagine, जितने infant less than 1 years में mortality होती है, उसका 10% हिस्सा CHD की वजह से है. So that's a huge burden. If you really want to serve our India, if you want to reduce our infant mortality rate, yes, NICU or pediatric intensivist people are very, very important that they should learn congenital heart disease. 1/5 of the infant diagnosed in neonatal age are having CHD as TGA. आपकी NICU में जितनी डायग्नोसिस होती है उसमें से 1/5 और 1/2 or 1/3 I would say they are because of T. T consists of TGA, truncus, TAPVC, tricuspid atresia, or any trunk lesion. Trunk is made up of aorta and pulmonary artery. So I always tell my juniors or my fellows in our unit कि आपको पहले 3 दिन के अंदर कार्डियक एनोमली का विचार आता है तो समझो कि सबसे पहले आपको टी ध्यान में आना चाहिए. टी मतलब ट्रंक. ट्रंक में ट्रंकस आर्टरियोसिस, TGA, TAPVC, and any lesion which can which can have problems in the trunk, which could be patent ductus arteriosus, वो भी trunk के आजू बाजू का lesion है. Pulmonary atresia, tricuspid atresia, those are also near the trunk lesion. Single ventricle physiology. And अगर जैसे आप इस slide में देख रहे हो, pulmonary atresia and its variant are nearly 13% of total neonates diagnosed having CHD. खास करके CHDs which comes with the cyanosis. जो cyanosis के साथ आपके पास neonatal age group में बच्चे आते हैं उसमें से 13 to 20% of the part तो pulmonary atresia alone खा जाता है. So these are the very, very critical lesions कि अगर इसको आप नहीं समझोगे तो they are going to die. And I still remember one of the child which we have operated in our past in Narayana, who was one of the pediatrician's kid, और वो बच्चे को pulmonary atresia था, सिंगल वेंट्रिकल फिजियोलॉजी थी, और मेरे टाइम मेरी फेलोशिप के अंदर उसका बीटी शंट हुआ था. एंड आई वाज वेरी वेरी हैप्पी कि आज 12-13 साल के बाद रिसेंटली इन आवर ग्रुप इट वाज शेयर्ड दैट द चाइल्ड हैज कंप्लीटेड द फोंटान कंप्लीशन. मतलब फोंटान सर्जरी उसकी कंप्लीट हो गई एंड द बेबी इज अ गुड फुटबॉल प्लेयर आफ्टर 12 years of his 12 or 13 years of his the first surgery which was done. So ये बिल्कुल ही नहीं है कि हम ट्राइकस्पिड एट्रेसिया और पल्मोनरी एट्रेसिया और सिंगल वेंट्रिकल को अच्छा लाइफ नहीं दे सकते. Nowadays a good data, even if a separate branch has been generated which is known as GUCH, grown up congenital heart disease. उसके अंदर फेलोशिप सेपरेटली होती है इन कार्डियोलॉजी और कार्डियक सर्जरी ऑफ पीडियाट्रिक ग्रोन अप कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज की, जिसकी नियोनेटल एज के अंदर सर्जरी हुई है और उसके बाद वो ग्रोन अप होके 30-35 इयर्स के ऊपर पहुंच चुके हैं. And now the science is pushing their life to extend from 33 years to 40-45 years. So practically 75% of this congenital heart disease they live normal life. So समझो आपके माइंड में अब तक ऐसा था कि congenital heart disease in neonatal और infancy मतलब वो तो गए, they are not supposed to survive, they will not surprise, छोड़ो यार इनको, यार they are not going to live a normal life. But they would be living normal lives, around 75% of the kids, if from starting from diagnosis to the last part of the care is done meticulously and done by the pediatric super specialists like pediatric cardiologist, pediatric cardiac intensivist, or pediatric cardiac neonatologist, and pediatric cardiac surgeon. And this reference are taken from very, very recent article which says that congenital heart disease in India, a status report, Indian Journal of Pediatrics. So this is nothing, other than India. और वो ये भी 2005 का आर्टिकल है. आप समझो 2005 के बाद तो काफी अच्छा रिजल्ट दे रहे हैं हम लोग. सो आज के टॉपिक का एम्स क्या है? We are going to have prompt recognition. This probably I think Ritesh Sukhramwala has already covered as a pediatric cardiologist. Early transfer as a neonatologist, and Mohit Bhai has taught you, and timely diagnosis and post-operative treatment of these children. So when you are talking about post cardiac surgery children and their management, usually three common scenario comes in our mind. I'm keeping my lecture very simple. What are these three common scenarios? One is this post cyanosis, cyanotic heart diseases, which are operated and then coming in your ICU. Now we all are assuming that you are taking care of pediatric cardiac surgical ICU. So this is the first lesion. Second lesion is the infancy, where the congenital heart disease has come, or the large left to right shunt lesions, like in this X-ray, large ASD, large VSD, AP window, which is aortopulmonary window, large PDA, truncus arteriosus, TAPVCs, ASD, VSD, PDA, triple lesions, etc., where your lungs would be bad like this. So ये तीन lesions है. Cyanotic neonates presenting in post-op, acyanotic congenital heart disease, they are coming to ICU after surgery, and neonates with various lesions, mainly duct-dependent lesions or coarctation of aortas, or other lesions like PDA and all. PDA we would be covering in the last. So what is the key to success to send these children home? Very simple three methodology. Ideal fluid management, low cardiac output management, because moment you do the surgery of the heart, cardiac output is going to be hampered, and pulmonary venous congestion and VQ mismatch care. तो आपका ध्यान कहां पे रहना चाहिए? इन बच्चों का फ्लूइड मैनेजमेंट आपके नियोनेटोलॉजी और नॉर्मल पीडियाट्रिक इंटेंसिव केयर से थोड़ा सा अलग है. इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड है, बट थोड़ा सा अलग है. And this is how our drift starts when we specialists as a pediatric cardiac intensivist or pediatric cardiologist come into the contact with very senior neonatologist or exclusively trained neonatologist. हमारा fundamentals और उनका fundamental in fluid goes completely different. They want to give 130 cc per kilo per day of fluid, and we are very scared to give that much of high fluid on day one. They would be be in the quarrel with us कि अरे आप लोग डायरेटिक मत दो, मेरे बच्चे को रीनल इंजरी हो जाएगी, ईयर इंजरी हो जाएगी. They will have abnormal BRAS and they'll have a lot of other issues and all, but we are not worried about those because we want to send the child home first. So diuretics comes into the very crucial part of the play. Low cardiac output में दूसरा क्या different होता है pediatric cardiac intensive care में? You guys are normal now. I think after Nirmal Bhai and Mohit Bhai and all those kind of people have started coming into the picture who knows pediatric neonatal cardiology. Use of Milinon has gone up, but otherwise आप बाकी के normal pediatric intensive care unit या NICU में देखो तो अभी भी use of inotrope is stuck towards use of dopamine and dobutamine. People are not thinking beyond कि उसके ऊपर भी कोई inotrope है. लोगों ने सोचा ही नहीं है कि सोडियम नाइट्रोप्रोसाइड क्या है, नाइट्रोग्लिसरीन क्या है, कौन से मैनेजमेंट में, कौन से कार्डियक पोस्ट कार्डियक सर्जरी के बाद वो यूज किया हो जाता है और वो कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो ये सब कुछ चीज आज हम सीखेंगे. वी आर गोइंग टू क्लियर द मिथ. सो इज इट क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू कि तीन ही की है सक्सेस में पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक सर्जरी के मैनेजमेंट के अंदर? एक टाइट फ्लूइड मैनेजमेंट, लो कार्डियक आउटपुट मैनेजमेंट मतलब सिलेक्शन ऑफ गुड आइनोट्रोप, और एक प्रकार का आइनोट्रोप इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी फिक्स्ड इन योर लाइफ. मतलब डोपामिन या डोबिटामिन आपने चालू कर दिया तो उसके साथ आप बैठे नहीं रहने वाले हो. हर तीसरे चौथे पांचवें घंटे के ऊपर आप रिवाइज करोगे अपनी स्ट्रेटेजी कि आपका मिक्स विनस गैस क्या है, आपका पेरिफेरल सर्कुलेशन क्या है, आपका लैक्टेट क्या है आफ्टर यू स्टार्ट आइनोट्रोप, एंड यू माइट बी रिक्वायरिंग टू ऐड आइनोट्रोप और डिलीट सम ओल्ड आइनोट्रोप. एंड पल्मोनरी विनस कंजेशन और VQ-BMVs मैनेजमेंट का आप क्या केयर करोगे. सो इतना तीन चीज अगर आपको आ गया तो समझो आप कोई भी सर्जरी आपका सर्जन आपके हाथ में देगा तो then you would be able to do. Why I have taken this topic particularly? Because recently we have received one large PDA, 4.5 to 5 millimeter of aortic size PDA, hemodynamically significant PDA, because surgeon over there in Surat has denied कि नहीं इसकी सर्जरी नहीं, ये इसको सर्जरी की जरूरत नहीं, आप सर्जरी के बिना मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट करो. Practically speaking, he was very much right. बट जैसे ही पीडीए दिखा अपने नियोनेटोलॉजिस्ट और मित्रों को, अपने कलीग्स को क्या याद है, अरे 4.5 मिलीमीटर का हेमोडायनामिक सिग्निफिकेंट पीडीए है, हमको सर्जरी के लिए भेजना है. चाइल्ड हैज कम ओवर हियर बट वी हैव मैनेज विद आइनोट्रोप्स, डायरेटिक्स, एंड आज 4.5-5 मिलीमीटर का पीडीए 2 मिलीमीटर का हो गया. क्यों? बिकॉज वी वर कॉन्फिडेंट कि बच्चा टर्म है. सो टर्म बेबी में पीडीए लाइगेशन के रोल के पहले सेकेंडरी कॉज ऑफ पीडीए, ओपन पीडीए का रीजन ढूंढना चाहिए कि क्यों पीडीए ओपन है. सो देयर वाज सेप्सिस, देयर वाज lung lesions where right lung collapse was there, child was having bad thrombocytopenia, child had IVH, child has other stress factors in the body like torch positive, and etc etc. So once those things are covered, patient is extubated today and doing good. So probably we would be sending home. He might require PDA ligation in the future. I am not saying that no, but the good inotrope can delay the surgery and full term में PDA ligation is rare. So वो circulation समझना बहुत जरूरी है. तो common CHD क्या आते हैं न्यूबॉर्न पीरियड के अंदर? One is duct dependent lesions like duct dependent pulmonary circulation, like critical pulmonary stenosis, pulmonary atresia with intact ventricular septum, pulmonary atresia with open VSD. Is it clear to all of you? आपके NICU में कौन से बच्चे आएंगे? या तो डक्ट डिपेंडेंट लीजन्स आएंगे या अदर्स आएंगे जिसके बारे में हम बातचीत करेंगे. तो डक्ट डिपेंडेंट लीजन्स जो मैंने रेड में हाईलाइट किए हैं वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो डक्ट डिपेंडेंट लीजन्स में एक लीजन ऐसा होता है कि पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन आपकी डक्ट के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है. योर पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन और लंग्स आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन योर पीडीए. इफ पीडीए इज क्लोज्ड, लंग्स वुड नॉट गेट ब्लड. दूसरा सिचुएशन है सिस्टमिक सर्कुलेशन डक्ट डिपेंडेंट है. मतलब इफ पीडीए इज क्लोज्ड, your lower half of the body would not be circulated, like critical aortic stenosis, tight juxtaductal coarctation of aorta, interrupted aortic arch anomaly, and hypoplastic left heart syndrome. Is it clear to you? तीसरा प्रकार है NICU में जो आता है वो एडमिक्सचर लीजन आता है, which is TGA with intact septum और obstructed TAPVC. इसके सिवाय सातवीं कोई वेराइटी NICU में यूजुअली क्रिटिकल लीजन के साथ आपके पास नहीं आएगी. Yes, there would be few, scenarios like large VSD, age dependent lesions like TAPVC, tricuspid atresia, shunt lesions like PDA in preterm, and severe tricuspid regurgitations like Epstein anomaly sometimes would be coming to you guys. So उसमें से सबसे क्रिटिकल जो होने वाला है ये पहले 3 कंडीशन है और the I would say TAPVC and tricuspid atresia होने वाला है. So बाकी के lesions के ऊपर वो बच्चे आपको टाइम देने वाला है. So these are the common CHD comes in the newborn period. Now which are the duct dependent pulmonary circulation and how they would come? This would be the X-ray. You know that boot shaped heart, which is formed because of the huge right ventricular enlargement. Usually left side of the circulation is not dominant, right side of the circulation is more dominant. So there would be RV hypertrophy. Pulmonary conus is absent or underperformed. So there would be pulmonary atresia or any lesions pertaining to pulmonary trunk. So it could be tetralogy of Fallot, it could be pulmonary stenosis, tight PS with right ventricular hypertrophy, Epstein anomaly, etc., etc., where child would be presenting with severe cyanosis, short systolic and continuous murmur or sometimes no murmur, and reduced pulmonary blood flow. इसमें तो फिर भी थोड़ा pulmonary blood flow दिख रहा है, but there would be reduced pulmonary blood flow because we are talking about duct dependent pulmonary circulation. उनका lungs जो है वो black होगा. There would be reduced blood flow in the pulmonary circulation. So this is how you can differentiate, like this child. Okay. Duct dependent systemic circulation. So how they would be presenting to you? They would come with tachycardia. They would be coming with sign of failure like weak 30 plus, shock, mild cyanosis would be there, pallor would be there rather, cold extremities, low urine output, and murmur would be less likely. For example, tight coarctation of aorta, HLHS, the tight aortic stenosis, interrupted aortic arch or juxtaductal coarctation of aorta. ये example है duct dependent systemic circulation में, जहाँ पे LV dominance होगा, LV would be hypertrophied, LV would be dilated because there is obstruction to the left side of the circulation. And which would be admixture lesions. Admixture lesions would be like Epstein anomaly. They would be coming with, the TGAs. Like you can say that this is RV to aorta and pulmonary artery to left side of the heart, which is left ventricle. Can you see this is side by side large vessels, and it is a echo image suggestive of TGA. They would coming with the comfortable cyanosis. They would not be that much tightly cyanosed. Saturation might be around 85, 84, 80, or sometimes 80 to 90, 91 itself if there is a good open duct or large ASD is present. They would be coming with congestive heart failure. There would be quiet precordium. There would not be, hyperdynamic precordium. There would be no significant M. Rarely murmur of PDA, M means murmur. Single S2 sound would be there, and venous hum would be present in obstructed TAPVC. So this is how you diagnose in your neonatology. Now you have sent these children diagnosed and sent to the surgeon. How do we approach? अब इतना आपने कर लिया उसके बाद now you know the circulation. ये मैंने क्यों लिया? Because हम सर्कुलेशन को जानना चाहते हैं कि सर्जरी के पहले क्या सर्कुलेशन था, कौन सी साइड का हार्ट अंडर डेवलप था, कौन सी साइड का हार्ट हाइपर डेवलप था और हाइपरट्रोफाइड था, और किस किस टाइप के लीजन थे जो सर्जन ने बंद किए। इज इट राइट? नेवर एवर थिंक कि सर्जरी हो गई मतलब सब कुछ बराबर है। We in our unit always think, and even my surgeon blames that Amit never says that surgery has been done well. I would never say. Why I would say? अगर मैं सर्जरी ठीक नहीं हुई है वो डाउट करना बंद कर दूंगा तो सब बच्चे घर पे ही जाएंगे, मेरी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. No critical care would be required. So I assume that there is some issue in the surgery going on and I have to rectify it. Whatever surgeon required to rectify, he has done it in the OT. जब आप वो माइंडसेट रखते हो तब आप अलर्ट होते हो, हर छोटी छोटी चीज के ऊपर ध्यान देना शुरू करते हो, एंड देन योर क्रिटिकल केयर बिकम्स वेरी वेरी एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी. आवर एवरेज स्टे ऑफ कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज, व्हेन वी रिसेंटली published our data in our local state, the PCSI journal, is hardly, you can say that in large left to right shunt our average stay is 6 days, neonatal age group average days 10 to 14 days, and cyanotic heart disease stays around 6 to 7 days. So which is at par with any Western world. It was happened only because we are very, very vigilant. We don't leave any single window open, and that is how we are supposed to approach. अब बात आती है कि 3 चीज में मैनेजमेंट को डिवाइड करते हैं. आपने सर्जरी के लिए भेजा, नियोनेटल एज ग्रुप को भेजा, देन लेफ्ट टू राइट शंट को भेजा और साइनोसिस को भेजा, राइट? लेफ्ट टू राइट शंट में आ गया ASD, VSD, लार्ज PDA, ASD, VSD, PDA, मतलब ट्रिपल लीजन्स और सिंगल शंट लीजन. सो एसाइनोटिक हार्ट डिसीज में यूजुअली शंट लीजन्स ज्यादा आते हैं, मोर और लेस शंट वुड बी प्रेजेंट. तो उसका मैनेजमेंट कैसे किया जाए? हाउ you guys are going to manage this children when this kids comes into your ICU and you are managing the child? Usually this guys gives more trouble in the ICU if presentation is late, which is very common in India. आपको एसाइनोटिक हार्ट डिसीज देख के कैसा लगता है? अरे बच्चे को साइनोसिस कहाँ था? So these are the simple lesions and nothing would be required in the post operative period. Surgeon has done all the good job. और वही सर्जन बोलेंगे ICU में आके रिलेटिव्स को कि I have done the fantastic surgery and now everything is there in the मोहित भाई's head. अब मोहित भाई संभालेंगे, वैसा होगा. तो टेंशन किसको होता है? मोहित भाई को ये होगा, जो ICU के हेड होगा उनको ही होगा, क्योंकि सर्जन ने डिक्लेयर कर दिया कि एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. बट एक्चुअली ऐसा नहीं है. सर्जन इज राइट कि एसाइनोटिक हार्ट डिसीज टेक्निकली इज नॉट डिमांडिंग. सर्जन का रोल इतना ज्यादा नहीं है, ICU स्पेशलिस्ट का रोल इसमें सबसे ज्यादा है. बिकॉज these kids are having bad lungs, large left to right shunts lesions. They have lungs which are damaged because of persistent high blood flow going from left side of the heart to the right side of the heart. So LA और LV में से blood RA और RV में ज्यादा आता है, through which pulmonary artery में ज्यादा हो जाता है. It would create pulmonary arterial hypertension, and कोई भी pulmonary arterial hypertension जितना ज्यादा रहे उतना pulmonary vascular bed में remodeling कर देता है. So those vessels are stiff, and after surgery also they give problems with the issues or syndrome known as pulmonary arterial hypertension crisis. और ये crisis life threatening होती है. So आपके ऊपर, इंटेंसिविस्ट के ऊपर बहुत बड़ी जवाबदारी है. रीजन क्या है? लार्ज लेफ्ट टू राइट शंट ऑलवेज लंग्स को डैमेज करते हैं. तो इसमें हम क्या करते हैं? फ्लूइड रिस्ट्रिक्शन करते हैं. वी ऑलवेज गिव नॉट मोर देन 1 to 2 cc per kg per hour of crystalloid in day 0, day 2 2 to 3 cc per kg per hour of crystalloid, inclusive of everything, inclusive of feeds, inclusive of inotropes, inclusive of crystalloid fluids. And we titrate according to the need, as per we have already have CVP and arterial line in the place. Sometimes in the PD and aortic lesions we put 2 arterial line, so we know that what is the perfusion of upper limb and what is the perfusion of lower half of the body. So we know how to titrate, but we start with such low degree of IV fluid, so low degree of IV fluid supplementation or crystalloid supplementation. Day 2 or above, we don't go even above 75 to 80% of total requirement, all inclusive. इसमें antibiotic भी आ गया, IV fluid भी आ गया और feeding भी आ गया. And it is a very, very trusted and proven method since years in pediatric cardiac surgery management. So ये आपके लिए नया है. आप लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं? 70, 80, 100 cc per kilo per day fluids देना चाहते हैं preterm बच्चों में या term neonates में भी, but we don't give in the large left to right lesions on day 0. Day 0 I am talking about, because they are already in the SIADH. Any surgery, any cut in the body is going to cause the SIADH. So free water balance would be always higher in these kids. Okay. Now अब examples लेते हैं कि एसाइनोटिक कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज में क्या आता है. पहला कॉमन लीजन है ASD। तो ASD 4 टाइप के होते हैं, सेकेंडम ASD, ऑस्टियम प्राइमम ASD, साइनस वेनोसस ASD एंड कोरोनरी साइनस ASD। तो सबसे कॉमन चीज है सेकेंडम ASD जो कभी बंद नहीं होता है। ये मैं मिथ आपको जरूर क्लियर करना चाहूंगा। आई वुड बी हैप्पी टू क्लियर दिस मिथ दैट सेकेंडम ASD नेवर क्लोजेस इन योर लाइफ। Their sizes reduces, but if you are there sitting in your OPD and if some baby comes with the echocardiography report that my child is having secondum ASD, always explain them to be operated before the school going age starts. That would be around 4 to 5 years of age, because more and more age advances in the ASD, their remodeling, RARV hypertrophy and severe pulmonary arterial hypertension sets in. So large ASD, large secondum ASD has to be closed before the preschool age comes into the picture. होप एवरीवन इज क्लियर नाउ। बात आती है कि सर्जरी की। ऐसे ASD ने आपने सर्जरी के लिए डॉक्टर महाडिक साहब या दूसरे डॉक्टर साहब जो हैं सर्जिकल फ्रेटर्निटी अपने सूरत है उनके पास भेजा, और महाडिक साहब या जो सर्जन हैं वहां पे सूरत में वो कहते हैं कि बस अब मेरा काम पूरा हो गया, अब मैं पेशेंट आपके पास शिफ्ट कर रहा हूँ, अब देयर इज नो कार्डियक इंटरवेंशन इज रिक्वायर्ड एंड पेशेंट कम्स टू यू। सो आप क्या करोगे, कैसे एक्सटुबेट करोगे, कब करोगे, कितना फ्लूइड रखोगे? सो ASD क्लोजर में ऐसा कहा जाता है कि मोर्टालिटी इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल। ASD शुड हैव 0% मोर्टालिटी। It is the easiest lesion to be operated and they deserve 100% life in future. So again, it is more responsibility on you. Even a smallest mishap like electrolyte imbalance और hypokalemia की वजह से भी, एरिथमिया की वजह से भी ये बच्चे मरने नहीं चाहिए। So आपके शोल्डर के ऊपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ज्यादा है, इसलिए समझिए कि ASD क्लोजर विथ पल्मोनरी आर्टेरियल हाइपरटेंशन, अगर प्री ऑप इको के अंदर पल्मोनरी आर्टेरियल हाइपरटेंशन है, सो इसमें अलर्ट रहें। You may delay the extubation little bit of 6 hours, 8 hours, or very next day. See how the function is, see how the after shunt closes, how the child is behaving, and after that you extubate. Make sure the child is under low cardiac output, which is though rare, but आपके लेवल के ऊपर आपको यहाँ से अलर्ट हो जाना चाहिए। If there is no pulmonary arterial hypertension and small ASD like this, non-secundum ASD or primum ASD or sinus venosus ASD or coronary sinus ASD, small lesions less than 4 millimeter, less than 5 millimeter, nothing to worry about. You can extubate within first 2 to 3 hours after surgery. Overall stay requirement in ASD is 5 to 6 days. Any ASDs, okay? ASD closure in early infancy or primary AV canal defect. Yes, this is the area where you need to have the guarded prognosis to the पेरेंट्स। भले ही सर्जन ने कहा कि कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला, बच्चा घर जाएगा, बट मोर्बिडिटी इज कॉमन। These are the bad subset in ASD. Diuretics are required in this child from the days hour 6 hours after surgery. Good inodilator would never be weaned off till 24 hours of extubation is uneventful. Lung protective strategies like CPAP is must after extubation so that they don't get intubated again. And these ASDs are not straightforward ASDs. So beware and keep little bit of extra attention. Now अब बात आती है ventricular septal defect की. So there is, what is the difference between atrial septal defect over here and ventricular septal defect over here? As I explained to you that there are 4 types of ASD, there are 4 types of VSD also. Which are the 4 types of VSD? Mid-muscular VSD, apical VSD, multiple VSD, perimembranous VSD. So out of this, perimembranous VSD are rare to be closed. Okay? जैसे ASD में मैंने आपको समझाया कि सब ASD अपने आप बंद नहीं होते या छोटे नहीं होते, they require surgical intervention. वैसे ही मिड मस्कुलर सिवाय या एपाइकल मस्कुलर VSD, यहाँ पे होने वाले VSD के सिवाय rarely other VSDs like subvalvular subaortic VSD या पेरीमेम्ब्रेनस VSD। subaortic VSD यहाँ पे रहते हैं, या सब पल्मोनिक VSD जो बोलो तो यहाँ पे रहते हैं, पेरीमेम्ब्रेनस VSD यहाँ पे रहते हैं, मिड मस्कुलर VSDs यहाँ पे रहते हैं, एंड एपाइकल VSDs यहाँ पे रहते हैं। आउट ऑफ विच द VSDs which are in between the valves and the mid-muscular area, which are perimembranous VSD, usually they don't close. और I would say कि एक डिक्टम मन में गांठ बांध के चल लो कि वो कभी क्लोज नहीं होते हैं। सब पल्मोनिक VSD फिर भी क्लोज हो जाते हैं बिकॉज दे आर पार्शियली कवर्ड बाय द ट्राइकस्पिड लिफलेट। ट्राइकस्पिडल पल्मोनरी आर्टरी का लिफलेट जो अंदर बाहर होता है, उसकी वजह से ये VSD की साइज इफेक्टिवली छोटी हो जाती है, बिकॉज वो आड़े आ जाते हैं लेफ्ट टू राइट लीजन्स में, शंट नहीं होने देते हैं। सो दोस VSDs दे क्लोज स्पॉन्टेनियसली और दे रिड्यूस स्पॉन्टेनियसली और दे डोंट हैव मच सिम्टम्स। बट बाकी के VSD को क्लोज करने की जरूरत अर्ली होती है. Why I am giving emphasis to you guys that you guys are going to be the first diagnosing member of our society or pediatricians who would be seeing the child first time, and you would be picking up by the murmur. So pansystolic murmur, more the grade or less the grade, lesser the grade, the larger is the shunt, more is the grade, smaller is the shunt. So you are going to diagnose them, and जब आप कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट के पास भेजो, अगर आपके सिटी के अंदर पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट नहीं है और एडल्ट कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट को जो आदत होती है कि वो इको रिपोर्ट करके अपने पास सीधा भेज देते हैं, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि अगर पेरीमेम्ब्रेनस VSD आया है इको के अंदर, तो अच्छे और बड़े सेंटर में बच्चे को भेजा जाए सर्जरी के लिए. और अब मानो कि उसकी सर्जरी हो गई है. नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट सर्जरी हैज बीन ऑलरेडी डन. सो व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ASD closure and VSD closure? So ASD closure में क्या होगा? When surgery was not done, your right atrium and right ventricle was hypertrophied because shunt was coming from here. This chamber was enlarged and this chamber was enlarged. However, opposite to this, VSD, when there is a large VSD, your left side of the chambers are enlarged. Your left atrium is enlarged and your left ventricle is enlarged. Now you tell me that which ventricle is more important? Left ventricle is more important or right ventricle is more important? I'm sure majority of the people have told or given the answer in this. I think I'm not sure whether Zoom meeting is interactive. I can listen to your interaction or not. But as far as I know, all the fellows must have given the answer कि left ventricle or left heart is more important. So as simple as that. अगर आप इन्हीं बच्चों का scoring system बनाओ, तो right side heart वाले lesions जो भी हैं, जैसे Epstein anomaly है, large ASD हैं, you know, any lesions like tricuspid regurgitation hai, those people that deserve a very good life as compared to the shunt on the left side, which needs early surgery. So ये surgery के बाद problem कहाँ पे आएगा? On contrast to ASD closure, आपका LV enlarged है and hypertrophied है because of the continuous volume overload to the left side of the heart. कैसे? You would be asking me that how volume overload? The shunt goes from here. RV is a bypass channel. It is known as conduit. It never takes the stress of the large shunt and it directly gives the pressure to the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery doesn't get the stress, gives the more trouble to the left side of both the lungs, and lungs ultimately gives the pressure back to left atrium. So there would be more than 2:1 shunt और आपके left side of heart के लिए volume overload pre-surgery है. तो अभी जैसे ही आप इस shunt lesion को बंद करते हो तो क्या होगा? Once you close the VSD, your pop-off valve for left ventricle is closed. Suddenly, left ventricle has to take pressure overload as well as volume overload also. Am I right? Because circulation is tuned in such a way that all the circulation from the lungs, it comes back to the left side of the heart. Now, right ventricle is relaxed. Rather, it would be empty because VSD is closed. That shunt is closed. So suddenly there would be LV afterload. So when LV afterload comes, you have to be very, very clear that closure of the VSD makes LV volume overloaded as well as pressure overloaded. आपका volume overloaded tough ventricle अच्छे से function नहीं करेगा, इसलिए never ever be in hurry to extubate these children because maximum extubation failure happens in these children. So watch for sign of pulmonary edema and pulmonary venous hypertension, which is in X-ray, fluffy shadows originating from the pulmonary bay like a butterfly's wing, which was not there on the day one when you were ventilated. But after extubation, if those pulmonary edema starts coming in, you have to call your cardiologist, or if you know how to do echo, you have to repeat the echo to see for pulmonary arterial hypertension, sign of pulmonary arterial hypertension. You have to upgrade the diuretics and you have to change your inotropes and add the parameters like, you know, not sildenafil and all. This PAH doesn't require sildenafil. This is PVH. So in PVH, sildenafil is contraindicated. After closure of shunt, you have to reduce afterload by giving SNP, sodium nitroprusside, if BP is more, if BP is borderline nitroglyceride, or better safe molecule is to add dobutamine and milrinone with diuretics. DDD, diuretics, dopamine, SOS, digoxin. This is the strategy of management of large left to right lesions. Get echo before extubation और उसके बाद ही extubation करो. Always ask and look for residual shunt. ये echo किस लिए मैं कह रहा हूँ? Don't rely on the surgeons. Surgeon might have left the residual VSD open because muscular VSDs are very, very difficult to look when heart is relaxing. When surgeon is operating, his heart is completely relaxed, it is not beating. So they do surgery on non-beating heart. So what happens, relaxed mid-muscular VSDs, they get unnoticed, and when they again pump, heart starts pumping after the surgery, they would be opened up, they would be leaving 1 or 2 millimeter of residual shunt open, and which these guys, they don't operate in the post-operative time. Tight fluid restriction is required. Keep dobutamine, Mylenol or diuretics for at least 3 days. Ideally, diuretics should be made in infusion for first 2 days, because bolus dose of diuretics like Lasix, it causes sudden volume contraction. And study says a same or even lesser dose of diuretics if you give Lasix in the infusion, or Ditor, what we give torsemide in the infusion, which causes less electrolyte imbalance and less chances of sudden volume contraction. So giving more fluid and taking it back by giving Lasix, that cycle would not be more in your ICU. You have to do less manipulation if you give diuretics in the infusion in post-cardiac surgery patients. Extubation should be on the day 1, not on the day 0 if severe pulmonary arterial hypertension there. Remember, nowadays everybody is pushing early extubation. Surgeon keh ke jayenge, "Arey badhiya surgery hui hai, extubate kar do Mohit sahab," but don't do it. These are not the easy cases, and they would give you more trouble after extubation. Rather go slow, make the lungs dry, and reduce the afterload. You know that PWP, PEEP or ventilation, is a afterload reducing agent. It works as a drug. It reduces the preload, it reduces the afterload. So get body some time to get adjusted. Meanwhile, you would be off intercostal drains. You would be off, the painful issues like the catheters and artery line. And day 2, day 1 or day 1.5, you can extubate this small baby with severe pulmonary arterial hypertension. Extubation to be immediate in first 6 hours post-op. If there is a mid-muscular VSD and it is a small in size, which is less than 4 millimeter, or less than the shunt lesion is not that much and pulmonary arterial hypertension was absent in your pre-operative echo, ऐसे बच्चों को पहले ही दिन एक्सटूबेट किया जा सकता है और तीसरे चौथे दिन इवन वार्ड में भेजा जा सकता है. सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कौन से लीजन में कितना स्टे और कितना मेहनत करने की आपको पोस्ट ऑप में जरूरत है. होप 2 लीजन्स आर क्लियर. आज अभी तक हमने 2 चीज क्लियर किया, ASD क्लोजर्स एंड VSD क्लोजर्स. ऑल ASD क्लोजर्स, लार्ज, स्मॉल, साइज कहाँ पे थी, प्लेस कहाँ पे था, कॉमन एट्रियम था. अच्छा, यस, वन थिंग, कॉमन एट्रियम आई फॉरगॉट. दोज आर द ASD विद सीवियर पल्मोनरी आर्टेरियल हाइपरटेंशन. वो भी डिलेड एक्सटूबेशन के कैंडिडेट हैं, जिसको लार्ज VSD की तरह ही ट्रीट किया जाता है. So am I clear up till now? Then I'll go towards the coarctation of aorta. Now, as for this image, you clearly see that there are 2 types of coarctation of aorta. As far as post-operative care is concerned, I am not going into much detail. One is post-ductal and one is pre-ductal coarctation of aorta. So by this means, you clearly see that when duct is before the obstruction, your ducts supplying less blood towards the lower half of the body. Is it clear to you? And if duct is, coarctation is preductal, duct is situated after the obstruction at the aortic area, your circulation on the lower part of the body is much, much better. And this is the concept of post-operative management. अभी आप बताओगे कि सर कि कैसे, how post-operative management will be dependent on कि कहाँ पे duct थी. तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए है कि अगर आपका सिस्टमिक सर्कुलेशन, लोअर हाफ ऑफ द बॉडी सर्कुलेशन इज लेस इन द बॉडी इन प्री ऑपरेटिव एरा, देन योर बेबी इज गोइंग टू बी सिक आफ्टर सर्जरी. व्हाई? एज फार एज एब्डोमेन इज कंसर्न्ड. मैं हार्ट की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं लंग्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, बट मैं ये बच्चे जब नियोनेटल एज में प्रेजेंट करते हैं तो मैं पेट की बात कर रहा हूं. अभी आप बोलोगे सर ये हार्ट के सर्जरी में पेट कहां से आ गया? तो इसलिए आ गया बिकॉज नियोनेटोलॉजिस्ट का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट और फेवरेट टॉपिक माना जाता है NEC, नेक्रोटाइजिंग एंट्रोकोलाइटिस. एम आई राइट और रॉन्ग? तो अभी आप सोचो कि अगर आपका पोस्ट डक्टल कोआक्टेशन है तो देयर इज लेस ब्लड फ्लो प्री ऑपरेटिवली इन लोअर हाफ ऑफ द बॉडी. अब सर्जन करते क्या है, पहले से एक तो लोअर हाफ ऑफ द बॉडी में कम ब्लड जा रहा था, तो ऐसे बच्चों को आपने कई बार देखा होगा कि रेज क्रिएटिन की वजह से पकड़ा जाता है कि भाई ये बच्चा ओवरऑल नॉर्मल है बट इसका क्रिएटिन क्यों रेज्ड है. फिर आप मरमर देखते हो एंड फिर आप ओवरऑल कई बार डायग्नोस करते हो कि इसका चलो इको कराते हैं, मरमर है, इसको थोड़ा सा लोअर हाफ ऑफ द बॉडी में ब्लड प्रेशर भी लो है. लेट मी सी फॉर द इको एंड यू कम टू नो दैट देयर इज अ पोस्ट डक्टल कोआक्टेशन ऑफ एओर्टा. सो इस टाइप के कोआक्टेशन एओर्टा को जब सर्जन ऑपरेट करते हैं तो व्हाट दे डू इज they put a clamp here. There would be large, बहुत ही बड़ी आर्टरी फोर्सेप होता है जिससे डिसेंडिंग एओर्टा को क्लैंप किया जाता है और एसेंडिंग एओर्टा को भी क्लैंप किया जाता है. तभी सर्जन को ब्लडलेस फील्ड मिलेगा और वो ब्लडलेस फील्ड के अंदर सर्जन ये पीडीए को काटता है और ये पार्ट जो यहाँ से लेके यहाँ का एबनॉर्मल है, इतने पार्ट को काट के नॉर्मल पार्ट को जोड़ा जाता है. सो दिस यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई ऑलवेज टेल टू माय फेलो पीडियाट्रिशियंस जो मेरे साथ काफी सालों से काम कर रहे हैं कि you have to go and sit with the cardiologist that what kind of lesion is there. You have to go sometimes when you are free in the operation theater and know and understand that how surgeon is operating and where he is having trouble. So when you go inside the coarctation of aorta surgery, I have always listened and shouting surgeon ki make sure that I'm not getting any blood in my field, otherwise I would not be able to do surgery. PDA cut करने के time पे surgeon को काफी tension रहता because these are off-pump surgeries. They are totally unprotected. और जितने टाइम तक ये कोआक्टेशन को बांधा जाए या एओर्टा को बांधा जाए उतने कॉम्प्लिकेशंस पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पार्ट में ज्यादा होते हैं. सो इंटरेस्टिंग टू मॉनिटर इज अगेन आपके ऊपर टेंशन ज्यादा है बिकॉज इसमें मोर्टेलिटी एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है. जैसे ही सर्जन ने अच्छी सर्जरी की मतलब आपको जिंदा भेजना है इस बच्चे को. सो यू आर ऑन द टोज. आप अपने टोज के ऊपर रिजल्ट देने के लिए पोस्ट रिपेयर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ सर्कुलेशन इज गोइंग टू चेंज इन दिस चिल्ड्रन. So as I told you, fluid restriction is must because again this is left side of the heart ka lesion hai. LA and LV would be enlarged and dysfunctional because there is obstruction to the left side of the heart. So you need lucinotropic agent like Milinone and Dobicin in your post-operative period. Now believe me guys, जैसे मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अपने पीडियाट्रिशियन मित्रों में भी आइनोट्रोप के सिलेक्शन में काफी मिथ्स होते हैं जिन्होंने कार्डियक सर्जरी नहीं देखी, वैसे ही मिथ अपने एनेस्थेसिया मित्रों में भी होते हैं. सो आपके सर्जन के एनेस्थेटिस्ट रेयरली कई बार मिलिनोन चालू करते हैं, सिंपल डोपामिन और रादर नॉरएड्रेनालिन पे बच्चों को शिफ्ट करते हैं जो एडल्ट प्रोटोकॉल है, पीडियाट्रिक प्रोटोकॉल नहीं है. वी डोंट गिव आफ्टरलोड एनहांसिंग एजेंट इन पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक सर्जरी. सो यू शुड ऑलवेज रिमूव नॉरएड्रेनालिन एंड ऐड एजेंट्स लाइक डोबिटामिन, मिलिनोर और एड्रेनालिन. नॉरएड नहीं चाहिए लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द लीजन्स में. अगर आपको नॉरएड्रेनालिन चालू करना पड़ा तो समझो समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, दे आर इन द डीप शिट. सो you need to understand कि कौन सा आइनोट्रोप आपको चाहिए और कौन सा आइनोट्रोप के साथ एनेस्थेटिस्ट ने आपके बच्चे को भेजा है तो आपको वरी बढ़ जानी चाहिए. These children have diastolic and systolic dysfunction both of left side of the heart, which makes you little bit worry, isn't it? आपकी चिंता बढ़ा देता है जब लेफ्ट साइड का सिस्टोलिक फंक्शन ही बराबर नहीं है. सो वो लो कार्डियक आउटपुट में रहेंगे. They would be in the low cardiac output. So peri-op time is very very crucial. You should ask your surgeon very bluntly that what was your clamp time. If your clamp time is more than 20 minutes, you should be worried. And they always write in their notes कि aortic clamp time was this. So आपको हमेशा याद रखना है कि if clamp time is more than 20 minutes, your child is not going to be simple in your ICU. Concentrate on the lungs a lot because your LA-LV is dilated and bad. Keep NBM for 2-3 days because if neonate with tight coarctations are there, postductal coarctation है तो उसमें NEC के chances बढ़ जाते हैं because there is less circulation while surgeon is doing the surgery in the lower half of the body. पोस्ट डक्टल एरिया के अंदर जब आप एओर्टा को क्लैंप करते हो तो सर्कुलेशन पेट में कम जाता है. That's the reason why they develop NEC. So 2 to 3 days you should keep them NBM. Have a good anaerobic cover like Metrogil or whatever units policy is there because abdominal complications are going to be common in this kind of children. अब बात आती है कंट्रोल ऑफ हाइपरटेंशन. ऐसा हार्ट the left ventricle in such a mode which is dysfunctional, they would not treat hypertension which would be there in coarctation of aorta because of the upregulation of baroreceptors and chemoreceptors. It's a separate science. I have written a chapter in neonatal cardiac intensive care management. Me and Mohit Bhai has written chapter in the same book, which the book is already published now and the second version is going to come out very soon. We will send you that chapter to understand why hypertension is the myth. People say that okay, hypertension could be because of pain and intercostal drain and all, but no. Coarctation and hypertension means you have to give sodium nitroprusside, NTG and enalapril if your renal function permits, because hypertension would not be tolerated by these children. So your blood pressure in neonate should be kept less than 95th percentile for given age. Otherwise, your left ventricle would never improve. You will extubate the child and they will die or they will get re-intubated. Okay, is it clear? Now we are going in PD ligation. Mohit Bhai's topic. I'm entering into Mohit Bhai's topic. So I'll not go in much of the detail. You know कि PDA क्या है, PDA का hemodynamic circulation के ऊपर क्या effect है, what is HSPDA, hemodynamically significant PDA, that I am not going into the detail. But moment you ligate this PDA, again left heart would be dilated. So once left heart would be dilated, because this is a pop-off which is closed, right? So once you close this PDA, more and more blood is going to come towards left heart, and left heart is not, is very sensitive and is not tuned to take care of this much of blood. So again, you are on the toes. PDA ligation, surgeon would say, fantastic, surgery is done. Your child is going to go home, don't worry. But he doesn't know the child is 700 grams or 600 grams. Only PDA doesn't play a role. There are so many things has to be done. Extubation is not going to be the easy task. This is the simplest surgery on this earth. PDA ligation मतलब वो कोई rocket science है ही नहीं. General pediatric surgeon भी इसको operate कर सकते हैं. And nowadays many surgical unit like us, or even in Nirmal, in those years of 2005, 2006, we have closed the PDA in the bedside. Bedside PDA ligation is possible. No mortality is accepted in these children. So what happens after you ligate the PDA? आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि अगर इसमें mortality नहीं possible है, तो आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि इसमें एक तो volume नहीं चलेगा, आप fluid boluses बार-बार नहीं दे सकते हैं, your LV is in the bad shape, so afterload reduction is must. So you would be choosing inotrope like dobutamine, Milinon, SNP, NTG, diuretics and digoxin. आप इसमें एड्रेनालिन यूज नहीं करोगे, नॉर एड्रेनालिन नहीं यूज करोगे, रादर आफ्टरलोड सिस्टमिक आफ्टरलोड रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट्स यूज करोगे. आप इसमें कतई ही सिल्डेनाफिल यूज नहीं करोगे. Those babies would be having pulmonary venous hypertension, but left side of the heart lesions, they are the absolute contraindication to start sildenafil unless and otherwise it is a fixed pulmonary arterial hypertension, like Eisenmenger physiology. Other than that, sildenafil has no role in this kind of children. What all this thing is known as, Mohit Bhai's favorite word again, post PDA ligation syndrome. Once this is sets in, it's not an easy task to extubate. So wait, we will extubate these children, but after 24 to 36 hours after surgery. Now I'll tell you funny incident of many neonatologist friend in Ahmedabad. Moment they send this child for surgery in our unit, they call me. अमित भाई, ये तो सिंपलेस्ट सर्जरी है, आपने अपने लेक्चर में कई बार बताया है, अगर सर्जरी हो गई हो तो हमारे यूनिट में वापस भेज दो. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. This kind of kids, they, because of post PDA ligation syndrome, you shift them, and in the shifting they deteriorate and they die. You shift them, the neonatologist doesn't know about post PDA ligation syndrome, and they try to extubate without echo, without diuretic, without afterload reducing agent, they are going to crash and the child would die, even though it is the simplest surgery and the surgery has been done fantastically well. So ये 3 लीजन के ऊपर मैंने बहुत ही स्ट्रेस दिया है आप लोगों को कि गाइज, ये 3 लीजन है जो आपके हाथ में आएंगे. शायद टेट्रोलॉजी ऑफ फेलो आपके हाथ में ना आए, वो हमारे जैसे लोगों के हाथ में आएंगे. पल्मोनरी एट्रेजिया आपके हाथ में ना आया, बीटी शंट आपके हाथ में ना आए, पल्मोनरी आर्टरियल बेंडिंग आपके हाथ में ना आए, बट ये 3 सर्जरी जरूर आपके हाथ में आएगी. बिकॉज अभी धीरे धीरे करके ट्रेंड ऐसा होने लगा है कि एडल्ट कार्डियक सर्जन ऑल्सो दे आर कंफर्टेबल इन डूइंग दिस सर्जरीज. सो स्मॉल सेंटर्स लाइक राजकोट, नागपुर, इंदौर, सूरत फॉर एग्जाम्पल, small centers like Nadiyad, where gradually corporate hospitals are coming in, adult cardiac surgeon would do this surgery. And then when you are there as a pediatrician or in charge pediatric intensivist, you might have to deal with these children. So you have to understand that their critical care is different from routine critical care or even pre-operative critical care. Now coming into the point, but I would not going into the much detail of duct dependent pulmonary circulation or duct dependent lesions because it is a complex science. But however, I would try to clear the myths. अभी हम समझ चुके हैं कि what is duct dependent pulmonary circulation and what is duct dependent systemic circulation. दोनों अलग अलग हैं फिजियोलॉजी. duct dependent pulmonary circulation में आपका lungs जो है, जो कम blood flow लेता है, जहां कम blood flow जाता है, और duct dependent systemic circulation है जहां पे कम फ्लो जाता है सिस्टमिक साइड में, सो लोअर हाफ ऑफ द बॉडी में. इज इट क्लियर? सो इन दोनों टाइप के अंदर कौन सी सर्जरी की जाती है? वन ऑफ द वेरी वेरी फेमस सर्जरी, और आई वुड से फर्स्ट रिवोल्यूशनरी सर्जरी डन इन पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक सर्जिकल साइंस, विच इज नोन एज मॉडिफाइड ब्लेलॉक टॉसिक शंट. ये शंट की सर्जरी इजाद हुई थी एक टेक्नीशियन से और एक I would say that perfusionist say or the Blalock was one of a non-surgical person, or I would say a medicine person who has guided surgeon कि आपके टेट्रोलॉजी ऑफ फेलो मर जाते हैं, एक भी बंदा साइनोसिस के साथ जिंदा नहीं रहता है. Why don't you divert the normal aortic side circulation by creating some shunt, putting some artificial material or artificial graft or tube between the left subclavian artery and the right pulmonary artery. This is blue is right pulmonary artery and this is the subclavian artery. तो इन दोनों के बीच में अगर आप कोई artificial tube डाल देते हो तो यहाँ का purified blood pulmonary circulation में आ जाएगा. More blood flow would be filtered through the lungs and child would survive. And there is a very good movie also made on Blalock, tossing shunt, and every pediatrician must see this movie. I have forgotten the name of this movie, but I have that copy of that movie. I would send it to you. आपकी आंख में आंसू आ जाएंगे, and you would be knowing that how important the knowledge factor is. It is not important that you are surgeon, then only you would be able to, contribute in surgical field, or you would be doing some miracles. This is just the values of thought and values of idea which has been created by non-surgical field person. Blalock and Tossing दोनों surgeon नहीं थे. So इसमें होता क्या है? तो this is the lesion where real fun starts. इसमें critical care का जबरदस्त रोल है. You need to have total understanding of circulation कि ये pulmonary circulation था जो drug dependent था या systemic circulation था जो drug dependent था. So ventilation and critical strategies plays a huge role to save these children. All palliative surgery, these are palliation, these are not the corrective surgeries, are tough to manage. ये easy नहीं होते हैं. So you and your team would require to sit around the patient till first couple of days sometimes. कुछ दिनों के लिए तो ऐसा होगा कि आपको पेशेंट के पास ही बैठा रहना पड़ेगा. Role of saturation is very important. आपका saturation कितना है वो आपके लिए बहुत ही important हो जाता है. कैसे? तो when the surgeon has operated this child and it has come into the ICU, you are supposed to maintain saturation between 80 to 85. More than 85 saturation जिसका है उसको overflowing BT shunt कहा जाता है. And if the saturation is less than 80%, it is known as underflowing BT shunt. Okay, so if saturation is 85, it is overflow. If saturation is less than 80, it is underflowing shunt. What do you mean by shunt? This is the shunt. Okay, overflowing shunt मतलब more blood left to right. Underflowing shunt means less blood from this conduit or from this canal from left to right. Is it clear to all of you? And this is how management is going to differ. कैसे management differ होगा? If there is overflow in the shunt, you increase the PWP. If there is an underflowing shunt, you are going to reduce the PEEP. Ideally, you would extubate these children early. If there is underflowing shunt, आपका PWP जो है वो pulmonary pressure को बढ़ाएगा, intrathoracic pressure को बढ़ाएगा, and when you have high intrathoracic pressure, there would be less left to right shunt in this artificially created graft. अगर practically समझा जाए तो ये क्या है? एक तरीके का सर्जन ने बनाया हुआ PDA है. PDA was connection between the left pulmonary artery and arch of the aorta, and BT shunt is connection between the subclavian artery and right pulmonary artery. So pulmonary circulation के साथ aorta का मिलन या pulmonary circulation के साथ aorta के बीच में बना हुआ ब्रिज भगवान ने बनाया तो PDA और सर्जन ने बनाया तो BT shunt. दोनों में मैनेजमेंट सेम है. अगर आपके पास रेसिडुअल रीजन PDA में लेके रह गया, give high PEEP and delay extubation. If your left to right shunt is less through the BT shunt, you give low PEEP or ideally extubate them early, sometimes within 1 or 2 hours or sometimes in the OT also. दूसरी चीज क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? जैसे ही BT shunt करके आपके पास पेशेंट आ गया तो anticoagulation has to be started within 6 hours of surgery, because the tube which I have shown, this tube, it is one of the biggest invention in the pediatric cardiac surgical field, which is known as Gore-Tex. ये Gore-Tex नाम का artificial material है. वैसे material तो बहुत अच्छा है, it is wonderful, but उसकी एक tendency है जल्दी clot बनाना, because anything artificially you put into the heart, it would create clottings. So when clots are being formed in that channel, your flow would be reduced, and if clot is big, patient would die in the minutes because they are dependent on the BT shunt. So no clots are permitted after Blalock tossing shunt which has come in your ICU under your care. तो आप क्या करेंगे, आप हिपेरिन चालू करेंगे. First 24 hours we start in first 5 hours of surgery. We start heparin by 5 units per kg per hour. Dose is 5 unit per kg per hour, and after 4 hours, if there is no bleeding in the intercostal drains, we increase to 10 unit per kg per hour for first 24 hours. पहले 24 घंटे के अंदर 10 unit per kg per hour heparin infusion जाता है. And we measure the clotting time by sending the APTT levels every 6 to 8 hourly or 12 hourly if you are happy. Or if you have a cardiac surgical unit, there is a ready-made ACT tubes, activated clotting time test जो bedside किया जाता है, उसकी ट्यूब होती है जिसमें ABG की तरह हम ब्लड डालते हैं और bedside के ऊपर ही टेस्ट कर लेते हैं कि clotting time कितना है. So आपका APTT रेंज होना चाहिए 1.2 to 1.8 times of the normal. APTT, I'm not talking about PT because heparin is going to change APTT. Heparin से आपका PT abnormal नहीं होगा. PT is prothrombin time and APTT is activated partial thromboplastin time. So APTT का level हम maintain करते हैं 1.2 to 1.8 times of the normal. Like normal APTT हो गया 25, तो हम 40 to 45 के करीब APTT को maintain करते हैं. और अगर आपके पास ACT है तो 130 to 140 के करीब ACT को maintain करते हैं, which is activated clotting time. Is it clear to all of you? We don't give any vitamin K, we don't give tranexamic acid, we don't give any medicine to create clots, no FFP, no platelets, 24 hours, sit tightly till Gore-Tex membrane is layered with good epithelium. जैसे ही वो epithelium का लेयर अंदर बन जाता है उसके बाद क्लॉट्स नहीं बनेंगे और फिर हेपेरिन की जरूरत नहीं है. उसके बाद आफ्टर 24 आवर्स वी पुट देम ऑन द एस्पिरिन एंड बेबी इज डिस्चार्ज ऑन एस्पिरिन एंड क्लोपिडोग्रिड and or clopidogrel. What is the dose of aspirin? Aspirin we need in anti-platelet dose, so we don't want to give 6 mg per kg full. We give around 2 to 4 milligram per kilogram till child is surviving or comes for the second surgery. Is it clear? एस्पिरिन आपके पास ओपीडी में पेशेंट आए तो भी मेहरबानी करके बंद नहीं करना है because they are living on aspirin. Unless and otherwise there is some complication due to aspirin, then have some hold, like for example gastritis or vomiting or something. 2-3-4 दिन होल्ड करो, PPI इनिबिटर्स दो, वॉमिटिंग को कंट्रोल करो, सुक्रालफैट जैसी चीजें दो और उसके बाद वापस एस्पिरिन को स्टार्ट करो. एस्पिरिन के बगैर बीटी शंट सर्वाइव नहीं कर सकते हैं. So this you have to understand and keep in mind. कौन से ड्रग के ऊपर ज्यादा मदार रखा जाता है पोस्ट ऑप में? तो I remember this always as 4D. D. D is diuretic. Second D is dobutamine or dilators. Third D is digoxin till discharge, on discharge. And fourth thing is diaphragm. अब आप बताओगे कि सर ये कार्डियक सर्जरी में बीटी शंट के अंदर डायफ्राम कहाँ से आ गया? So guys, you need to understand कि how surgeon operates. Surgeon goes from the right side of the thorax. They cut open the intercostal muscles by around 6 to 8 centimeter cut. 6 से 8 सेंटीमीटर का लंबा कट देते हैं. Then they retract the entire thorax and they keep dissecting till the upper part of aortic trunk, subclavian artery and pulmonary artery is found. और उसके आजू बाजू में क्या पाया जाता है? Phrenic nerve. So phrenic nerve is easily injured in this kind of patients. So diaphragm palsy is very common side effect. So if you see in your X-ray before extubation that your child's diaphragm is elevated, always blame that surgeon might have injured the phrenic nerve and diaphragm palsy is there. Those kids would not be easily extubated. They would be on CPAP, rather sometimes CPAP dependent. And whenever you are doing echo, tell your cardiologist or tell your sonologist to always look after the movement of the diaphragm. So 4 simple चीजें D. Fifth thing is anticoagulation and sixth thing is role of PEEP. बस इतना चीज समझ लो, आपका बीटी शंट साइनोटिक हार्ट डिसीज की सर्जरी ऑल्सो इज क्लियर. दूसरी साइनोटिक सर्जरी की साइनोटिक कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिसीज की सर्जरी है PA बैंड. आई एम नॉट श्योर सूरत इज confident enough to do this surgery, but again this is technically non-demanding surgery. Gradually your cardiologist, like now there are 2 cardiologists, very good pediatric cardiologists in your city. One is Snehal and one is Ritesh. Both have trained well, And of course, as this is technically non-demanding surgery, and आपके बच्चे को Swiss cheese VSD है, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे VSD हैं. Swiss cheese VSD जानते हैं आप? बहुत, so many big large VSDs which are causing severe pulmonary hypertension, pulmonary arterial hypertension. And if you want to close some of the apical or mid-muscular ASD, what surgeon they do is they put artificial ribbon or Gore-Tex band to the pulmonary artery, उसको बांध देते हैं और artificially pulmonary stenosis create करते हैं ताकि ये VSD close हो जाए. या तो फिर single ventricle surgery है, जैसे ट्राइकस्पिड एट्रेजिया, यहाँ पे ट्राइकस्पिड एट्रेजिया और यहाँ पे पल्मोनरी एट्रेजिया है, तो उसको पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन को कंप्लीटली बंद कर दिया जाता है पीए बैंड लगा के, इसको पीए बैंड बोला जाता है, सो दैट देयर इज नो फॉरवर्ड फ्लो इन द पल्मोनरी आर्टरी फ्रॉम द राइट वेंट्रिकल एंड दे जॉइन द एसवीसी सुपीरियर वेना cava, the superior vena cava to right pulmonary artery, which is known as bidirectional Glenn surgery. तो bidirectional Glenn surgery का एक कंपोनेंट है पीए बैंड, okay, or disconnection of the PA. So if you are doing this, yes, it's a simple surgery, but you need to understand and you have to treat it as if it is a tetralogy of fellow or pulmonary stenosis with open large VSD, and it's a palliative surgery. Tough surgery to manage post-operative. They need diuretics, they need the systemic circulation adjustment, because you want more blood to flow from the arch of the aorta rather than less blood you want to flow from the pulmonary arterial band which has been created. So what you would be giving: SNP, NTG, dobutamine, diuretics, and milrinone to reduce the systemic vascular resistance. Is it clear, all of you? So this is PA band. TAPVC, TGA, truncus, and DURV. My God, this is one of the difficult aspect which I told Mohit bhai and Nirmal sir both कि भाई इसको हम cover करेंगे, but एक lecture में इनको न्याय देना, to give justice to this surgery, is really difficult. What I want to give the message for this kind of this 4 lesion is they are most demanding in post-operative care. Majority of the good surgery which is done are also turns into failure if your intensive care is not good. Very frequent adjustment and vigilant critical care is required because they don't give time. It's a majority of the surgery which deals with your trunk, which is pulmonary artery and aorta, like TGA, TAPVC is also directly dealt with the posterior surface of the left atrium, left side of the surgery. They always need long bypass time. So once your bypass time is more than 30 minutes, the complications are going to be high. Truncus arteriosus, they have very severe pulmonary arterial hypertension. So DORV also, they have very severe pulmonary arterial hypertension. TAPVC has severe pulmonary venous hypertension. So these are the kids where we come off with sometimes nitric oxide and keep chest open. We put elective peritoneal dialysis catheter and we give PD for 2 to 3 days, because peritoneal dialysis is a known methodology to filter the cytokines and remove the bad aspect of the long bypass time, like cytokines and interleukins, and all those things will be filtered out. And after all this hard work also, I would say that we at Good Unit, we don't expect or accept any mortality above 10%. So when these surgeries are done, we are on toes. We are very worried, and entire intensive care unit is, sometimes all the people, surgeon, me, cardiologist, on the day one, we all are sleeping in the unit and stay there and work hard for these children, because if they live normal life like you and me. And no other than Nirmal bhai is one of the live example who knows about TAPVC than anybody else, that if surgery is done very well, they live normally and they absolutely do well. They deserve normal life. So we have to work hard. It may need elective ventilation for at least 3 days. 1 day is usually chest is open. There is a role of elective peritoneal dialysis, role of steroids for 2 to 3 days to cut down the effect of IL-6 and the inflammatory cascade created by bypass pump. A different pump strategy, we need to talk with perfusionists that, guys, you can't behave like your VSD, how you provide circulation for VSD closure. We would not be accepting similar way in TGAs. You have to be on the toes and make sure that your platelet counts are normal, your hematocrit is fine. You ultra filtrate these kids and don't give cytokines to us in first 3 days. You give steroid well, give thyroxine for 3 days, and inotrope adjustment is very important, because these kids are known to deteriorate after 12 hours. once the effect of bypass goes away and they go in shock very drastically down. They require very tough anatopes, but ultimately they go home. So in this children, early referral is required. So you guys have to be vigilant in post-op care as well as when you diagnosis, like TAPVC repair, arterial switch for TGA, aortic arch repair, large VSD repair, critical pulmonary stenosis और ट्राइकस्पिड वाल्व रिपेयर. सो इन बच्चों के अंदर आपको बहुत ही जल्दी रेफरल करना है टू द कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट और टू द गुड अर्ली रेफरल टू द गुड यूनिट. अब बात आती है व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ हीमोग्लोबिन इन पोस्ट कार्डियक सर्जरी. यस, we rely a lot on hemoglobin in by different aspect. In few surgeries we accept low hemoglobin. In few surgeries we rather keep supraphysiological hemoglobin. अब आप बताओगे hemoglobin का क्या रोल है? So there is a lot of role in hemoglobin. You know that reduced hemoglobin is formed when more than 5 gram of 100 ml of cutaneous veins are filled up of reduced hemoglobin or hypooxygenated blood. एनीमिया कहा जाता है जब हीमोग्लोबिन इज लेस देन 6 ग्राम, नॉर्मल हीमोग्लोबिन है 13 to 15 ग्राम, एंड पॉलीसाइथेमिया है जब हीमोग्लोबिन इज मोर देन 20 ग्राम. सो ये चार्ट में आपको एक क्वेश्चन है भाई कि विच अमोंग दिस इज मोर हाइपोक्सेमिक, यू टेल मी. आई थिंक इफ यू वांट टू अनम्यूट फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन यू कैन अनम्यूट फॉर अ व्हाइल बिकॉज आई नीड इंटरेक्शन. एनीमिक पेशेंट ज्यादा हाइपोक्सेमिक है, नॉर्मल बंदा अगर उसका 5 ग्राम हीमोग्लोबिन डीऑक्सीजनेट हो जाए तो वो ज्यादा एसिम्प्टोमेटिक होगा, या पॉलीसाइथेमिक बच्चा होगा जिसका हीमोग्लोबिन 5 ग्राम कम हो जाए, हाइपोक्सीनेटेड हो जाए, तो वो ज्यादा सीरियस होगा. इसमें से कौन से बच्चे में हाइपोक्सिया ज्यादा डेंजरस होगा?
So one of the fellow has written polycythemia. Rutul has written.
Very good, Rutul. So Rutul, you are very much right that cyanosis is recognized at a higher level of oxygen saturation in patients with polycythemia and at a lower level of oxygen saturation in patient with एनीमिया. सो एनीमिया के बच्चे जो हैं वो साइनोसिस बहुत ही लेट प्रेजेंट करते हैं बिकॉज उनके पास ऑलरेडी 6 ग्राम हीमोग्लोबिन है. 6 ग्राम में से 5 ग्राम को डीऑक्सीजनेट होते होते काफी लंबा टाइम हो जाता है. रादर देन 20 ग्राम वाले पेशेंट जो ऑलरेडी पॉलीसाइथेमिक है उसमें 5 ग्राम हीमोग्लोबिन को डीसैचुरेट करना इजी है, और पॉलीसाइथेमिया इज द एंटाइटी वेयर वेरी ग्रेट डिफिकल्टी से वो ब्लड पेरिफेरल सर्कुलेशन में पहुंचता है. सो दे आर वेरी वेरी सिम्टोमेटिक. That's the reason why TET spells are more dangerous rather than large VSD with anemia. Am I right? So this is how hemoglobin is very important. Influence of hemoglobin in level of cyanosis is very, very important because hemoglobin carries 67 times more oxygen than it is dissolved in the plasma. So plasma से ज्यादा important hemoglobin है और वो vital है. So अब आप पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पार्ट में आ जाते हो तो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एक तो एज है और दूसरी चीज आपने कौन सा लीजन ऑपरेट किया है वो है. सो एज में आप देखो तो नियोनेट्स टॉलरेट लो PaO2s. So in neonates we are not much worried and we don't give much we don't keep low threshold to give PCB, which is blood transfusion. So we accept around 7.5 to 7.9 of hemoglobin or sometimes 8 of hemoglobin in neonates because we know that fetal hemoglobin has high affinity towards in older children and adult PO2 of 60 to 65 is needed to to hold the 90% of oxygen saturation. Rather neonates में fetal hemoglobin के presence के वजह से the oxygen dissociation curve completely shift हो जाता है और deoxygenated hemoglobin बनाने के लिए आपको काफी टाइम लग जाता है because of the low affinity towards the hemoglobin. तो ऑक्सीजन जो है हीमोग्लोबिन के साथ कम चिपक के रहता है, उसकी एफिनिटी बदल जाती है और टिश्यू को ज्यादा मिल जाता है. सो फॉर नियोनेट्स वी डोंट much worried about the blood transfusion, but in the older children if we have operated for cyanotic heart disease and if hemoglobin even falls less than 12 we are worried and we give blood because cyanotic heart disease entire barochemoreceptor circulation are tuned for more hemoglobin. Their tissues are hungry for hemoglobin, and that's the reason why our blood transfusion threshold is low when baby is older and cyanotic heart disease is operated. Other routine management of neonate continues as per what you do. Specifically, we give a lot of concentration on eucalcemia because neonate heart is dependent on calcium, as neonate myocytes are, you know, intercellular calcium and extracellular calcium component mein, they are more dependent on extracellular calcium. Ionatic calcium, moment it drifts less than 1.2, their cardiac output deteriorates. So for adequate stroke volume in neonatal heart, you need a proper eucalcemia. बिगर बच्चों में प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगा, बट नियोनेट में हाइपोक्लाइसीमिया, आयोनिक कैल्शियम लेस देन 1.2 वुड नॉट बी टॉलरेटेड. वो सिम्टोमेटिक नहीं होंगे, वो सीजर थ्रो नहीं करेंगे, बट आपके हार्ट के लिए आयोनिक कैल्शियम बिटवीन 1.1 to 1.3 इज वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड. Eucalcemia, euglycemia and euthermia. So these are the things which are required. Rest of the things you know. लास्ट बात आती है, और इसके बाद हम मोस्ट प्रोबेबली अपना सेशन क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन के लिए ओपन करेंगे, इज द एरिथमिया. सो आईसीयू में सबसे ज्यादा क्या होता है पोस्ट कार्डियक आईसीयू में हमारे साथ, इज एरिथमियाज व्हिच यू गाइज आर लीस्ट एक्सपोज्ड टू. आप लोगों ने कभी जंक्शनल एक्टोपिक टैकीकार्डिया नहीं देखा है, आपने एसवीटी कई बार देखा है, बट जेट कभी नहीं देखा है, एंड यू डोंट नो हाउ हॉरिबल इट इज. यू हैव यूज्ड defibrillator very less, and many neonatologists or pediatrician, even when I came out of, even I can say that I completed my first fellowship, or till I was not in Narayana, hardly I have used defibrillator 1 or 2 times. और that also मुझे याद नहीं है कि उस स्टेज के अंदर रेसिडेंसी और पोस्ट रेसिडेंसी के पहले 1 साल के अंदर defibrillator का नॉलेज ऐसा कोई हाई फाई मेरे पास भी था. And I am happy enough to confess that, and I am even confident enough to say कि इस लेक्चर जो ये लेक्चर में जो लोग प्रेजेंट है उसमें से 96% पॉपुलेशन ने कभी डिफिब्रिलेटर को शायद हाथ भी नहीं लगाया है, और हाथ लगाया है तो भूल चुके हैं. Am I right? बट इन पोस्ट कार्डियक सर्जरी डिफिब्रिलेटर को ऑलमोस्ट हर दूसरे तीसरे दिन में हाथ में लेने की बारी आती है. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट. It is the pediatric cardiac ICU is different. So this is one of the example of one of the very recent, a case which was the operated case of tetralogy of Fallot, जिसमें junctional ectopic tachycardia and reentrant supraventricular tachycardia पाया गया था, जो हम कई बार राइट वेंट्रिकुलर वायर स्टडी, RA वायर स्टडी करके पकड़ते हैं, बिकॉज हर बार इन लोगों की रिदम में टेकिकार्डिया होना जरूरी नहीं है. फॉर एग्जांपल जंक्शनल रिदम जो है, junctional ectopic tachycardia, they could be because of high rate, they could be because of low rate. So JET ka diagnosis is required with the vigilant eye, absent P wave, narrow QRS tachycardia, sometimes inverted P wave, or P wave is falling after QRS. It is known as junctional ectopic cardia की ectopic tachycardia की वो tachycardia कहीं पे junctional area में but other than AV node से जनरेट हो रहा है, और एवी जंक्शन पे कहीं से जनरेट हो रहा है, एंड वो एवी नोड में बार बार रीएंटर करके रीएंट्रेंट टैकीकार्डिया के स्वरूप में आके रिदम को डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है. दोस एरिथमियाज आर डेंजरस. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रिगर्स आर टेम्परेचर, एसिडोसिस, पेन, these are reversible causes, trauma, inflammation, tamponade, and surgery itself. Because जब आप पेरीमेम्ब्रेनस VSD को टाका लेके बंद करते हो तो वहीं पे बंडल ऑफ हिस होती है, वहीं पे एवी नोड होता है, और वो सर्जन को नहीं दिखाई दे सकता है इन द लूप्स ऑल्सो. समटाइम्स एक आध फ्यूचर का बाइट अगर एवी नोड या बंडल ऑफ हिस में से आ गया, सो दे वुड बी थ्रोइंग द वेरी बैड टैकीकार्डिया इन फर्स्ट 2 to 3 days ऑफ पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पीरियड. सो and majority of the death in post cardiac surgery are also attributed due to cardiac arrhythmias. So these are again the things which we are on the toes. These are few example of reentrant tachycardia, जहाँ पे इसमें reentrant tachycardia variety है जिसमें P wave inverted पाया जाएगा, where the the rhythm is circulating from right bundle his right ventricle, and it is again coming back by fast conduction system towards a slow conduction system of AV node, and बार बार यहीं पे री-एंटर करके यहीं से रिदम ओरिजिनेट होती है. राइट एट्रियम या ऐसे नोड से आने वाली रिदम is not able to play the role because here ऐसे नोड से ऑलमोस्ट डबल मात्रा के अंदर AV नोड के अंदर सर्कुलेशन हो रहा है इलेक्ट्रिक इम्पल्सेस का. That's the reason why the entire rhythm is ulta. P wave is followed by, so it is originating from here. First QRS is formed, and then it triggers or it gives electrical impulse to right atrium, which is here. Here is the right atrium. This is the valve area, AV node. This is right ventricle. Sorry, this area is right ventricle. This area is left ventricle. तो यहाँ से एंटर होके बार बार AV node से जो रिदम री-एंटर कर रही है, which is known as re-entrant tachycardia, and those are dangerous. Other form of re-entrant tachycardia is antidromic re-entrant tachycardia. I'm not going into the detail, but where you would be finding P wave at the usual place, but it would be inverted. So the rhythms, the movement of rhythm is same like SA node, but it is not coming from SA node to here. It is originating just above the AV node, coming to this right side of the heart, and then going back through AV node again and again. So P wave is generated before QRS, but it is ulta because it is generating from the somewhere near the AV node, but supra AV node, just above the AV node, which is known as, that's why it is known as antidromic re-entrant tachycardia. तो ECG से ये डायग्नोसिस हो सकता है आपके सिंपल ECG से. अच्छा, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि ये पोस्ट कार्डियक सर्जरी में ही आए. हाँ दोस्तों, ऐसी चीजें आपके प्री ऑपरेटिव एरिया में भी आ सकती हैं, बिकॉज समटाइम्स इलेक्ट्रोलाइट imbalances can stimulate, any stress factor can stimulate such AV node, and this kind of tachycardia can come in pre-surgical VSD also, large VSD also. खास करके Down syndrome. We have seen n number of Down syndrome where this kind of rhythms are shown. WPW syndrome is also very common with congenital anomalies like that. WP's Down syndrome and the other couple of congenital heart disease. I don't remember exactly the word, but I think general medical practitioner or general pediatricians or even Nirmal Bhai would be vouching those names. But preoperatively also, this kind of lesions are common. Nodal re-entrant tachycardia, where P wave would be almost absent or it would be inverted. I'm not going into detail, but these all would be, you know, जहाँ पे आप P wave को normal जगह पे appreciate नहीं करोगे, इतना simple समझ लीजिए, but आपको narrow QRS tachycardia more than 180 per minute जरूर मिलेंगे, और इसको treat करना बहुत जरूरी है, because this rhythm causes low cardiac output. Any rhythm which is not created from SA node, which would not give you good cardiac contractility, it would always hamper the cardiac contractility. So you have to do vagal stimulatory maneuvers. Adenosine is considered as drug of choice because it unmasks the tachycardia. Adenosine देने के बाद या तो आप SVT diagnose करोगे, या उस ECG strip से आप कहाँ से rhythm originate हो रही है वो diagnose करोगे, ताकि अगर re-entrant tachycardia है तो आपको पता है कि आपको strong drugs use करने हैं. For example, beta blocker like metoprolol or propranolol. Metoprolol, amiodarone sometimes, which is a cardiotoxic drug, and pacing, which you are not tuned to, which we guys do or cardiologists do, overdrive pacing by putting the, आपने pulse nals किया होगा तो उनमें आपने सीखा होगा कि there is a, you know, the cutaneous pacing pads or leads which has been, you know, patched on the neonatal skin so that your defibrillator senses which kind of rhythm is there and gives the shock or overdrives the whatever the rhythm is. And the last treatment part is radio ablation, because re-entry tachycardia is there. Then you send to the rhythm specialist, they take into the cath lab and they burn the area from the bad rhythm is generating. And within a few minutes, the patient is normal. I would not give the name, but recently we have done, you know, the radio ablation non-invasive surgery for one of the pediatrician's daughter who was a Kathak dancer. And every time she used to dance and come into the stress, moment her age advances, she had started coming with bad supraventricular tachycardia, which was re-entrant in variety with each time when she plays Kathak. So in the vacation time, when she was happy and not in the stress, we did the cath and we ablated, we burned the tissue in the heart from where that rhythm was originated. And she has recently performed in 2019, 26 January, if I'm not wrong, at the Lal Killa Republic Day celebration in front of our beloved Narendra Modi ji. So she's a very good dancer, and it was possible after radio frequency ablation, and they live normal life. So arrhythmia understanding also in post-cardiac surgery is very, very important. Prevention of recurrence, usually we require propranolol or beta blocker for around a year. Digoxin, if started, if there is no WPW syndrome, because WPW syndrome is contraindication फॉर डिजॉक्सिन। और WPW सिंड्रोम में एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप का ECG होता है जिसमें डेल्टा वेव दिखाई देता है। तो अगर डेल्टा वेव है तो वहां पे डिजॉक्सिन इज contraindicated, verapamil is contraindicated, or sometimes people do give, but I don't prefer those drugs. And verapamil not to be used under 12 months of age, ये चीज बहुत ही ध्यान रख के जरूरी है। एरिथमिया मतलब verapamil ऐसा मत समझ के चलो less than 12 months of age में verapamil is not a drug of choice. Rather we give modern drugs like flecainamide and other drugs, like if digoxin and beta blocker is not giving the result. This is the ECG of the same baby. This ECG, which was there in the post-operative surgery with reentrant tachycardia. This is after amiodarone and at the time of discharge in our own hospital in 2010. So, take-home messages are, you understood everything. Arrhythmia means post-cardiac surgery's overall concept is ending. You have understood all acyanotic congenital heart disease today. Everything which is relevant to you. Science doesn't stop here. There is a so deep science, like feeds, nutrition is different in these children. Their fluid along with the colloids are different because we use colloids left and right. Use of albumin, blah blah blah. Lot many other science are there which I have not gone into detail. But इतना तो basic जरूरी है. हर pediatrician को पोस्ट कार्डियक सर्जरी का टॉपिक आता है या इतने केसेस की सर्जरी करवानी है तो पता ही होना चाहिए, बिकॉज दिस चाइल्ड इज गोइंग टू कम इन योर फॉलोअप. आई वुड नॉट बी सीइंग दिस चाइल्ड ऑफ लार्ज VSD क्लोजर विथ हिस्ट्री ऑफ एरिथमिया इन फॉलोअप, बिकॉज वो 12 महीने 1 साल के अंदर वो सूरत में आप ही के पास आएगा. निर्मल में ही आते हैं मेरे सब पेशेंट फॉलोअप के लिए जो यहाँ पे हम ऑपरेट करते हैं. और अभी हमने जो PDA किया है वो भी शायद वहीं पे आएगा. परसों ही हमने PDA को जो बात किया वो व्हाट वी हैव डन, तो उसके एरिथमिया के लिए आपको ही मैनेज करना है. So you would be knowing which arrhythmia drugs are going to be used and क्या आपको देखना है. So that's the reason why these things are required. I would say that in success of pediatric cardiac surgery, the teamwork start from obstetrician herself. They are the first one who diagnoses the congenital heart disease, or fetal specialist to diagnose the congenital heart disease. Then comes the role of neonatologists or neonatal cardiologists like Mohit Bhai, or fellows like you who would be doing exclusively practice in your neonatology. आप खाली NICU करने वाले हो या खाली PICU करने वाले हो तो आपके पास भी ऐसे isolated rhythm के cases आएंगे, और then you would be explaining to the general pediatrician कि भाई अब इसको सर्जरी के लिए डिले मत करो and इसको आगे सर्जरी के लिए जल्दी भेजो. Then they would survive well. So then comes the pediatrician's role. Second role, important role, is surgeon and pediatric cardiologist, because they would be designing the timing of the surgery, and they would be designing the surgery itself, where the sutures would be taken and how the remodeled vasculature would look like. कहाँ palliation करना है, कहाँ palliation नहीं करना है. तो you be surprised कि कोई भी complex surgery करने से पहले, me as an intensivist, our cardiologist team and our surgical team, we all 3 people sit down with a bunch of the case file and we discuss all things like preoperative care, optimization of the preoperative circulation, intraoperatively circulation, and post-operative circulation. हम सब अपनी अपनी वरीज कहते हैं and discuss करते हैं. That's how we manage this patient. तभी अच्छे से अच्छा सर्जिकल रिजल्ट प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. पीडियाट्रिक इंटेंसिविस्ट का रोल बहुत है, and it is a separate science as far as pediatric cardiac intensivist is concerned. And अभी recently I would give you the example कि we had one visitor from before lockdown. We had a pediatric oncologist, hemato-oncologist, who came from, US, Cincinnati Children's Hospital. He was working over there. Now he's retired. And we invited him to give a talk to our fellows. And he told that in PICU, there are only 3 major chunk of people comes. First chunk is infectious diseases, which you are very well aware. Second largest chunk is cardiac surgery and cardiac disorder. And third largest chunk in PICU is hemato-oncological issues. वो उसको आप डेंगू बोल दो, HLH बोल दो, या मेलिग्नेंसी खुद बोल दो, या ITP बोल दो, या कुछ भी बोल दो. ये 3 ही डिसऑर्डर से आपका PICU बनता है. सबसे पहला इन्फेक्शियस, सेकंड कार्डियक, एंड थर्ड इज हेमेटो-ऑन्कोलॉजिकल. तो सेकंड को निग्लेक्ट मत करो. टेक दिस as a career opportunity of you guys, and I'm sure you would be flourished with the data what I have given and the huge opportunity. Very less people are there in this field. So this is third person also is very important. And fourth and very, very important thing is fully equipped pediatric intensive care unit where you have each and every gadgets and availability or of the people, not only the walls or good infrastructure, but fully equipped intensive care unit is made up of two things. One is good human resources, and second is good gadgets. So इन दोनों के कॉम्बिनेशन से बना हुआ गुड इंटेंसिव केयर यूनिट जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, इसके साथ प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो बेस्ट से बेस्ट रिजल्ट आएगा और लेस देन 10% मोर्टालिटी जो आज का नया नॉर्म है पीडियाट्रिक कार्डियक सर्जरी यूनिट्स के अंदर, वो हम अचीव कर पाएंगे. So if we will do this, such kind of chaotic emergency room or chaotic PICU can be converted into very structured form of ICU like this. I still miss Berlin pediatric cardiac surgical program where I had been there for considerable time, and I'm fortunate enough to be there with the team. Our boss is missing here, Professor Bugar, because he is a busy guy, and I still miss Germany because Germany's people are as alcoholic like us. There is no much work division. Even head of the department, you find them sleeping in the night when patient is not well. So you can convert this kind of emergency room to this kind of room. Only difference is here males are replaced by the girls. In this, here there are a lot of males. In a lighter note, thank you for all these neonates and the pediatric population. Future is bright if we work really hard. Thank you.